Let your light shine. We're so much more when we you are welcome. You are welcome. Good morning, everybody. You too, Bill. Hey. The one thing, I think a couple new faces, or maybe one. I see a couple of new old faces. To get on now.
New old faces?
The one thing you'll know if you've already been here and you come regular, or if it's the first time you've been here, we just want to make this clear that we are all friends here. There are no strangers when you walk inside that door. We welcome you to linger in the family of love. Held you in our hearts the way you are. We are all friends here. There are no strangers when you walk inside that door. We welcome you to linger in this family of love. Hold you in our hearts the way you are. One more time. We are all friends here. There are no strangers when you walk inside that door. We welcome you to linger in that family of love. Hold you in our hearts, we hold you in our hearts, We got turned. Sorry, I just did.
Turn me.
We good? There we go. Now we can hear me. Welcome. I am Rev Rachael Dilling, and we are so very glad that each and every one of you are here, whether you're brand new or you've been here a million times. Well, you would be a million times, but you know what I'm saying. So who is first time you've ever stepped through the doors? Excellent. How did you hear about us?
Online.
Online. And your name is?
I live in Mesquite.
Okay. And your name?
Kelly.
Kelly. Welcome, Kelly. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And then we've got, tell your name? Chet. And Chet, how did you hear about us?
Scott.
Through Scott. Yay, Scott. Yay. Yes, we're glad you're here, Chet. Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
Terry.
Terry. And how did you hear about us, Terry?
Evie.
Evie. Yay, Evie. Welcome, Terry. Welcome, Terry. Anybody else? We have a gift for each of you that is Rick handing those out? Oh, you already got it. Whew. We're so ahead of each other. That's great. So thank you for coming. We're so glad you're here. While we're thanking people, I want to make sure that we acknowledge those people that were here early this morning putting things together. So we want to thank Alan, our musician, who helped set everything up. We've got Bill, our practitioner. Yay, Bill. Diana is in the kitchen. Thank you, Diana. We've got David, who is also, he's just like a utility player. Yay, David. Rachel. Jessica was here to help with setting all of the electronics up. Thank you, Jessica. We've got Anna here. She's our greeter. Thank you. So as you can tell, it takes and Scott, he set up the bookstore in the back. So yay, Scott.
Yay.
It takes a village for us to put this together each time we come together in person. And so we are so very grateful for those people who are willing to show up and help with that element. And we are so open if anybody would like to come and join us that early, it's not that early, and help us set up things, because we can always use extra sets of hands, right? Okay, also, it's now time for us to do a little meet and greet, get to know each other, say good morning. Remember, if you're going to hug somebody, to ask permission before you do so. Fist bumps are acceptable. So we'll take about 90 seconds, and while we do that, we'll get a little ditty from Alan. So go ahead and stand up and say good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. Welcome back to your seats. Welcome back to your seats. Welcome back to your seats.
Stop meeting. Stop greeting.
Stop being so friendly, everybody.
Get back.
Okay, so we have a wonderful Sunday celebration set up today for you. We have our announcements that are coming up, and then we have a beautiful meditation that's going to be done by our beloved Scott. We have a reading by our wonderful Charles, who is very appropriate for the 4th of July. And then we get to hear music from Mr. Allen. Then I'll come up and I'll do a little talk, and we can share some ideas. And then we break bread afterwards by having a little snack and a little coffee. And then, of course, conclusion at 12:45, we start registration for our very first mini psychic fair. So stick around if you hadn't planned on it, because that should be a new experience. And with your participation and your feedback, we get to know how we can grow and do better, right? So, you ready to get started?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, then let's start with the announcements.
Good morning. Oh, we're all set?
You're all set.
Hi, I'm Tim, and like Rachel, I want to welcome everybody here and those folks out in social media land that are looking at us. Welcome to you too. We have just everybody, I think, knows that we don't have a Zoom meeting this morning. We don't do that when we have in-person services, but we do have a mini psychic fair after. So if you're at home watching, feel free to come in later for that. We'd like to welcome you. The next in-person service will be July 12th, and our topic will be Who Am I? Who I am reflects who I am. How I am. That's what I get for not TV. Okay. This will be a beautiful exploration of how our inner awareness shapes our outer experience. So please join us for that. As usual this morning, we are open for prayer requests. We have practitioners who would be happy to meet you briefly after the service in the back, and they will support you and do anything that you need in terms of practitioner support. And also in the back is the used bookstore. That's become a great success. It started with about 20 books. I think it was Sue's idea to restart that, and now it's grown almost every week. So go back and check the library out. And we have a new list of July activities. We try and put together a series of activities that might be of interest to our group. And we have a new flyer that is on the table. Please take one when you get home. Oh, I do have. Okay. The St. George Drum Circle is trying to start a every Friday night, activity in Vernon Worthen Park. It runs from 6 to 9. And a lot of it is young folks coming in with various instruments, and last time they were having a volleyball game. So if you'd like to do a little interaction, that's always there. This is 4th of July celebrations. We just listed the highlights of what's going on in town. There is a downtown parade that will start at 8:30. And it's a slightly different route than has been in the past, so check on that. There's a free concert at the Tabernacle, and fireworks at 10 p.m. at Zion. And those are still on, as much as I know. Also, the city just released a list of 19 parks, because there are no home fireworks. You can't go out in your street or your driveway and do the fireworks. But you can take them to parks, which I think is a great idea, because it would be a real community activity. So we'll see how that works out. And then We have two shows to be aware of. The Sacramento St. George Musical Theater is doing their Best of Broadway 4th of July special, and that show opens, well, it's already open, but it runs through the July, and it's their last show in the Opera House because the new theater will be ready for the fall. So if you want one last shot at that wonderful performance center in the Opera House, you can see that. Also, I wanted to bring your attention to another musical put on by the Stage Door Theater, Come From Away. And I've talked to people who have gone. This is a musical that did hit Broadway, but it was not well known. It was a story of the citizens in Newfoundland that took in all the airline passengers when they shut down all traffic, turned 911. And it's a poignant story of those events that went on. It's not a big political thing about 911. It's a story of human support and interest. Also, I wanted to announce that we have an interfaith choir here in town, and they have just announced they have a new director. And we have had a singing group in the past year, but we don't know how many people are still interested in that. But if you're interested in singing, the interfaith choir will be welcoming to you. So I think that's what I needed to cover. Again, welcome everybody. And if you're at home, come on back after our service for the psychic prayer. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Tim, for doing what you do. You know, community is such an important thing, and it's something that we tend to get detached from. I appreciate the core counsel of this fellowship. I certainly appreciate the work you're doing. Thank you. Let's settle in. My name is Scott Thompson. I'm a practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living in St. George. It is an honor and privilege to be with you as I guide you into a grounding meditation. Grounding, what is that? Well, we're standing on the ground, right? We are firmly on the ground, which means we know where we are, right? We know exactly where we are at this particular moment because our feet tell us so. Our feet tell us so. Our feet are a wonderful part of our bodies that often gets ignored until it hurts. And then once it hurts, then we say, oh, fix my feet, because I need my feet to walk. And sometimes when we are in a state of confusion or in a state of anxiety, breathing is a wonderful way of bringing us back into the center, but also our feet. So I'm going to invite you right now just to take a moment to just kind of lightly tap your feet on the ground where you're sitting. If your feet can reach the floor, just kind of tap your feet on the floor and feel the weight of you on that floor. And that is where you are. You are right here. You are right here in this moment. And whatever is going on in the mind, whatever thoughts you had when you came in here, whatever thoughts you have going on, just bring your feet attention to your feet. That is where we are. And I'm going to invite you now. You can go ahead and stop with the moving. Well, you can keep on moving if you'd like to. It's up to you. But what I'm going to invite you right now is to go ahead and close your eyes for me. And just take a deep breath. Thoughts come into your mind. Say hello and say goodbye. bringing your attention back to the center of your breath. Now I'll invite you in to bring in a mantra or affirmation, whichever feels more comfortable for you. What it is not important. I am right where I am supposed to be. I am right where I am supposed to be. And just breathe that in. I am right where I am supposed to be. And breathe. Take a deep breath in. And silently say this to yourself. I am enough. I am enough. Right where you're supposed to be. You.
So this slide, we can go back to grounding, because that song's gonna come later. So we're gonna stay relaxed. And some of you might know this, I just forgot to get it in the slides, and I'll sing it. It's not this one. I believe, I breathe out, I take in, I give out, I let love, I let go, I release, I forgive, I receive, I can feel, I believe, I'm healed, I'm whole, I release, and I know. Breathe. No need to push, no need to try, no need to worry or wonder why. Surrender, let go, release, and know. Now, I believe we have a reading. I don't know whether to salute this guy or what.
Some people have asked about the clothing I'm wearing. This is what a gentleman of 250 years ago would have worn. Rather conservative outfit because this is modeled after an ancestor of mine, John Thurston, who was a warden of the Congregational Church of Fitchburg, Massachusetts, and as such would not have gone in for flashy colors. You probably know that most of our founding fathers were religious men. Some of them, including John Jay, Patrick Henry, and Samuel Adams, were traditional Christians. Others, including, that was Samuel Adams in the first category, others including John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and George Washington were what were called theistic rationalists. That is, they believed in providence, a God, and divine governance, but they rejected some of the orthodox doctrines. Others, Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine, and Ethan Allen, for example, believed in a divine creator and a moral universe, but questioned much church authority and some aspects of the Bible, including the miracles. Jefferson even wrote, edited his own Bible, leaving out the parts he didn't agree with. Their religious beliefs appear in their writings and talks. George Washington warned that Americans should not be inattentive to the higher duties of religion. John Adams famously wrote that our Constitution was made for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the governance of any other. Benjamin Franklin encouraged starting each session of the Constitutional Convention with prayer, and the meetings were much less contentious after they started that. And he wrote that God governs in the affairs of men. Noah Webster, an educator, wrote that religion was one of the first things in which all children under a free government ought to be instructed. Their religious beliefs are reflected in the Declaration of Independence, which a committee of 5 men, including John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, were writing 250 years ago today. It starts with a reference to the laws of nature and of nature's God, and the self-evident truth that all men are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. and just above the signature they pledged their lives and fortunes to Providence. But I'd like to update this reading now with a document from our tradition, My Prayer for My Country by Ernest Holmes. Believing in the divine destiny of the United States of America and in the preservation of liberty, security, and self-expression, I offer this, my prayer for my country. I know that divine intelligence governs the destiny of the United States of America, directing the thought and activity of all who guide its affairs. I know that success, prosperity, and happiness are the gifts of freedom and are the divine heritage of everyone in this country. I know that divine guidance enlightens the collective mind of the people of this country, causing it to know that economic security may come to all without the loss of either personal freedom or individual self-expression. I know that no one can believe or be led to believe that freedom must be surrendered in order to ensure economic security for all. The all-knowing mind of God contains the answer to every problem which confronts this country. I know that every leader in this country is now directed to this all-knowing mind and has the knowledge of a complete solution to every problem, and each is compelled to act upon this knowledge to the end that abundance, security, and peace shall come to all. And I know that this spiritual democracy shall endure, guaranteeing to everyone in this country personal liberty, happiness, and self-expression. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Charles. And so as I bring in the idea of freedom, as I bring in that idea of expression, of individuality, knowing that it is all connected into the one, knowing that the one mind is our mind, and knowing that the breath is our breath. And as we breathe collectively into this sacred space, I know that each one of us is always free. Our freedom is exactly what it is. It is a divine birthright. It is a knowing and it is an expression. And so I know that right here and right now, that as this service completely and thoroughly expresses itself as freedom, knowing completely that our beloved Rachel will be allowing that spirit to flow through her ever so eloquently, and knowing that each one of us that is here today remembers who we are, remembers that we are free, remember that we always have that choice of that conscious connection to the energy of freedom, and that freedom is always a part of God. And so knowing right here, right now, each one of us is that freedom, I claim each one of us as knowing that we are perfectly free, that each one of us is moving as and through each situation divinely. I give great thanks for the leadership, for the membership, for the music, for it all. I give great thanks just for it all. I am alive. I am in life right here and right now. And that I am the expression of life. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Scott. Moving my hauler around. Maybe I should get one of those wireless things. What do you think? So I always try to find the songs that go along with the day's message. And it's the next one. Just clip on through till you get to Up Where We Belong. I got kind of confused with the order today. So I'm always digging around. We're right. We're on it. Trying to find something that matches. And this year, every subject that we've had is a song. And some I could do, some I couldn't do. I considered doing one by Kiss. And I finally wised up. So this was sung by a duet. Very good singers, but I'm going to sing this thing back. Who knows what tomorrow brings? In a world few hearts survive. All I know is the way I feel. If it's real, I'll keep it alive. The road is long. There are mountains in our way. But we climb a step every day. Love lifts us up where we belong, where the eagles fly on a mountain high. Love lifts us up where we belong, far from the world we go, up where the clear sky is. Some hang on to used to be, live their life looking behind. All we have is here and now, all our life out there to find. Time goes by, no time to cry. Life's you and love lift us up where we belong, where the eagles fly on a mountain high. Love lift us up where we belong, far from the world below, up where the clear streams flow. Time goes by, no time to cry. Life's you and love lift us up where we belong, where the eagles fly on a mountain high. Love lift us up where we belong, far from the world below, up where the clear wind blows. Love lift us up where we belong, where the eagles fly on a mountain high. Love lift us up where we belong, far from the world below, up where the clear wind blows. Love lift us up where we belong.
Lift us up
where we belong. So all week, all month, we've been talking about love. We've been talking about, there we go. Oh, let's go back. Okay. We've been talking about how love is that force that keeps everything moving, that makes us who we are, that is the energy of creation. Love is what we're supposed to be focusing on. So today, it's not just about love of self, it's also about love of community and about coming together and what we create as a community. So the question I would like you to kind of ponder is, how are we actively co-creating a world that represents this higher, deeper love? How are you actively co-creating a world that represents this higher, deeper love? That's quite a question, isn't it? Because I can only do what I can do. And a lot of times, we wonder, how do we do that? How do we create this world that we want to do with love? Well, we know that we think, and then we feel, and that through that feeling we create, right? But let's talk a little bit more about the world we have right now and this love that we are living in. I had a really interesting experience this week. My week usually somehow brings me a lesson or an experience that kind of fits what it is I want to talk about, right? So I own an independent living home for senior women, and we are down a bed or a bedroom right now. And so I put all the feelers out and say, hey, anybody know any lovely senior women who are looking for a place to live? Let us know. I'll come and interview. And we gear more towards low-income women. And God would have it that I got a phone call, come in and meet this woman and see if she'd be a good fit for your home. But the first person I talked to was her power of attorney. And just because I don't want to use actual names, we're going to call this power of attorney Susie. So Susie and I have this conversation, and I realize that Susie is not a relative of, we'll call the lady Kim. She's not a relative of Kim's. She was just asked at one point in time by her pastor to go and pray with Kim, and then Susie and Kim became friends, and then for like the last 6 months, Susie has been taking over as the power of attorney. Now, I don't know if you understand what power of attorney means, so I'm just going to give you a little explanation. It means that you are responsible for this individual if anything goes wrong, if they can't make their own decisions. And she's not just medical attorney, she's also taken over financial, which means that she's responsible for making sure this woman has clothes, that her bills are paid, that she has basically taken over guardianship of this woman when the woman isn't able to make rational decisions on her own. And she's only known her for a year. It's like, wow, I'm impressed. Sometimes people do that, though, and they're not, up and up, or they have alternative motives. But the more I got to know this Susie, the more I fell in love with her. So we have this great conversation, and we decide to go ahead and move forward. And so we bring Kim into the house, and I find that found out that Kim has stage 4 liver cancer, and she's got a little bit of a memory issue. So something happened between going from the hospital and coming to the house, and now it's 10 o'clock at night, and I get a call from one of my residents saying, Rachel, we've got a problem. So Kim apparently kind of lost her brain for a minute and decided to take off all her clothes and walk through the house. And when they finally got a shirt on her, she was knocking on all the doors to find who had her medicine. And so I said to the resident who called, please call the POA. She goes, I already have, and she was walking in the door. So 10:30 at night, Susie comes walking in the door, takes control of the situation, and helps Kim get back to her room, get her settled in. And the love and compassion that came from Susie was amazing. Because I don't know about you, but in the middle of the night, I'm ready to call it a night, and I'm getting called out because someone's misbehaving. could be very frustrating. It could make me, feel grumpy. But that's not the reaction that Susie had. So we decided to give it the night, and then in the morning, David and I would meet Susie at the house, and we'd figure out what the game plan was. Because if Kim was like another stage of dementia, then we've got an issue because we're independent living, right? So there we are, and I'm in. She got there before we did, and I go in, and my first priority is the tenants that are already there, the residents that are there. So I take the time and I go and I talk to everyone, make sure they're okay, because it can be kind of traumatic to have someone in the home that isn't predictable. We love predictability as human beings, don't we? And so I went and talked to her, and Susie went and talked to Kim, and we were talking about medication, because we figure one of three things happened. One, there's a lot of stress moving from the hospital to a new home with people you don't know, and it can make us kind of lose our mind sometimes. Two, maybe they gave her medicine at the hospital, then she took medicine when she got to the house, and she was overdosed, and that can, people do wacky things when they're on over-medication, right, or not enough medication. Or she had moved into that next stage of dementia, possible. So there Susie is, sitting at the dining room table, talking to Kim, trying to figure out what happened with the medication. And we created some forms. So she's explaining to Kim, you need to fill out what the medication was, what you took, when you took it, and how much, which seems pretty straightforward. But Kim was not getting it. And she sat there for 45 minutes, Susie did, with Kim, working through this, trying to make sure that Kim could get it, or is she not getting it? And not once did I hear Susie raise her voice, or yell, or pull her hair out, or do any of those things when we get really frustrated. She did say to me at one point in time, "Hey, Rachel, can I have a hug?" And I said, "Absolutely." But besides that, I never saw that flip to resentment, to struggle, to defensiveness. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is a perfect, beautiful example of what approaching life with love and compassion and kindness and understanding looks like, right there at my kitchen table. Because that was not the response to her from some of the other people that were in the environment in that space. Anyway, so just in case you're curious of how that story ended, we're not exactly at the end of the story, but Susie took Kim back to the hospital, and they're doing some evaluations, and we're thinking maybe she needs more of a group home or assisted living home, not an independent living home. We'll see. So where do we do that? How am I co-creating the world that I live in? Susie made it very evident that through love, she receives love. She has a kid at home. She's got a full-time job. She obviously is active in her church. She does outreach to her community through her job and through her church, and yet she's willing to take on being a POA of someone who is in that end stage. Wow. And I'm not saying that's for everybody, because it's not. It's a big job. And that may not be your calling. So there's a group mentality. When we are surrounded by people that are living in a space of love, love happens. But we also see it the other side, right? We also see that sometimes we are not in a group love mentality, and fear and lack and scarcity and anger take over. And we all know the examples, right? Can you picture the mob from the Frankenstein story? When they go after the monster and they got the pitchforks and we're going to kill the beast, right? And they also did that when in Beauty and the Beast. Remember that one? Edward Scissorhands, another example of where the mob gets into this fear and then begin the attack mode. And of course, those are movie examples. But can you think of something that happened in real life where the mob mentality takes over and the fear and the lack, and now we're going to fight and we're going to hurt other people because of that fear and anxiety that I have, right? We also have the other example in the movie world, Hair, at the end of Hair, where they all come together and let the sun shine in, right? And we've got Grease, at the end of Grease. We have all the kids come together and they're singing and dancing together because birds of a feather flock together, or something like that, right? So we know both sides of this. And we create in our lives, we co-create in our lives, which path are we taking? Are we choosing to be part of the angry lack mob, or are we choosing to be part of that let the sun shine in mob? Right? Or dance mobs. You know, have you ever seen those on the YouTube thing where they all come together and they start dancing, doing the same thing? Isn't that exciting? Isn't that watching that happen, even if it's a video, of watching that happen where people come together and they get into sync with each other and they move together and they create something beautiful? I love that. So that is we are co-creating, but if we want to change things, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I look at the world around me and I go, what are we doing? How do we change that? How do we make it a place where I want to live? It's not about perfection, because there's only one thing that is perfect in that world, and that is the divinity of the universe, or God. That is perfect. I am not perfect. You can ask my husband, he'll tell you. But we need to get to that place of love, because love can be perfect, because that is the divinity of the universe. That love feeling. I have a choice of how I feel. And I'm not talking about spiritual bypass. I'm not talking about I'm grieving somebody, but I've decided I'm not going to grieve that person, so I'm just going to feel love. I'm not talking about that, because we have to honor the human experience that we have in this world, because that's why we're here. But we can also work on that feeling through acknowledging what it is. So do the work. We have to do the work in order to get to a place of love. But we can also choose right here and right now, just like the song said, just like Scott said in his meditation, being right here with my feet on the ground, I can choose to feel the love. So I want to practice. You ready? You willing to practice with me here? To feel the love? Okay. So I want you to think of a moment in your life, and you can close your eyes or leave your eyes open, it doesn't matter. And think of a time that you felt the love for your mom, for your daughter, or your son, for your significant beloved, or just for a friend, a sister. Feel the love. And allow that feeling that's probably somewhere in your chest to kind of grow and grow some more. Let's feel that love in the room. Feel the love that fills every corner of this space. And that love is a choice. To live from that space is a choice. So being in the room of love, let's go ahead and open our eyes. And do you feel the difference? Can you feel it? You know, that being in that place of love and coming from a place of love and honoring each other and being respectful of each other sometimes is a moment-to-moment decision, right? So I'm having a bit of a challenge with my arm. It's better. It's like maybe 50% better than it was a couple weeks ago. But a couple weeks ago, I had gone to Pilates. I haven't done Pilates since. I will when I get better. And my arm was hurting so bad, just this part right here, which means that I couldn't do this kind of motion or put any pressure, so picking things up or using a clip or using a blow dryer or using a hair crimper or curling iron was out of the question. So I have a full day. I come back from Pilates. My hair is frizzy. I don't know if you've ever had that experience. And I'm like, okay, I got to do my hair. I've got a full day. I'm going to a concert tonight. By the way, I went and saw No Doubt. It was phenomenal at the Sphere. And I can't clip the crimp iron. I can't even put it in a ponytail because I can't move my arm. And I'm so frustrated. Have you ever felt that frustration because you just can't do it and you know that you should be able to do it, but it's not working? And so I'm looking in the mirror and I just start crying because I'm so frustrated. Some people hit things, some people yell and scream. I cry. So I'm crying, and all of a sudden, I have this tall man in the back. He told me not to use his name, so I'm not going to, in the back, and he said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I can't use my arm. I'm so frustrated." And he says, "Well, what do I need to do?" And I said, "Well, I need to curl my hair." So I kind of explained to him how you use the clippy things and you curl the hair. 20 minutes it took him. But he crimped my hair, and it looked fabulous. And so now we really know that David can do anything. But did I feel loved and so supported? And in that moment, I can feel that, and then I can take that into the world because I know what being loved and being supported looks like. And so when I run across that individual that just needs a little bit of care, of kindness, I can be that. Because I've experienced, I know what that's like. Do you know what it's like for someone to be kind in a moment of need? Do you know that feeling? If you know it, and if you don't, let me know. I'll come do it for you. We can share that then. So if we can envision what it can look like, if we can be that kindness, that compassion, that love, we can do that, then as a collective, what kind of world are we creating, right? I don't know why there we go. So Ernest Holmes, from This Thing Called You, it's a great quote. "You are made perfect in the law when you enter into a conscious community with the love. Love is the fulfillment of the law." Let me back up just a second and explain to you what that means for those people who have no idea what I just said. So we do the teaching symbol, and the teaching symbol is this symbol right here, this symbol that's right here. It's a circle, it has 3 sections, and it has a V. The top section, this is the love. This is the mind. This is spirit. In the middle is what we call the law. It's called the creative law because we go from the love, the mind, the spirit, down into the law, which is the creative. The creative can do only what it's told, which is what the law, the mind, the spirit, and the love tell it. So we have the love that goes into the law, and the bottom part is reality. It is the result of the love and the law. And that is the life. If you look around you, you can tell what you're putting in, what love or spirit you're putting into the law because it's right there. It's right there. So, with that in mind, let's go back to this. Love is the fulfillment of the law. That is, it is only through love that the law can fulfill itself in your experience. Because love harmonizes everything, flows through everything. You can never make the most perfect use of the law of your life unless that use is motivated by love. The motivation has to be the love. And I feel like it was just last month, but I think it was a couple months ago when I talked about what is love. Is it an emotion? Is it a feeling? Is it a being? Is it a state of presence? Is it the universe? What is love? And the answer is yes. Yes. So we need to be aware of where we're coming from. Is it the love? Or is it the fear or the lack of love or the wanting of love? There we go. So where can we have a higher love? Where can we express this higher love, this hyper, deeper space? We can express it when we are listening instead of dismissing. We can express it when we are repairing instead of blaming. We can express it when we are supporting system or support system instead of honoring human dignity. It's good when I can actually read the words that are on the page, isn't it? We express it when we participate compassion without becoming passive. That's a big one because I remember thinking if I'm just quiet and I don't say anything, then that's me being supportive. But that's not the truth. And as we were driving here, Jessica was talking in the car, and she was saying, you know, when you have the kid and you just give them everything they want, they become brats and demanding and ungrateful, because it's really not just about being quiet and giving people what they want. It's about knowing your boundaries. It's about doing what you feel is the right thing from a place of love and compassion, but still being able to be there. There was a point when I had a situation where I had a friend that got very angry, and angry used to freak me out, so my friend would get angry and I would leave the house. My friend would get angry and I'm like, I gotta go. And at one point in time I said, what can I do to be more supportive? And my friend said to me, just stay with me when I'm in anger, because I need the love, I need the support. And in my mind I went, oh, here I was running away because the energy was too big for me. But then, with that request, I'm like, I can handle the too big. I can just sit in it with them so that I can love them through their experience. That's powerful. That is powerful. Okay. So we express it when we refuse to let the cynicism have the last word. Okay. So we're going to go back to that question. How are you actively co-creating a world that represents the higher, deeper love? We're going to take 3 minutes. We're going to turn to your neighbor, and you're going to have a conversation about how are you actively co-creating the world that represents a higher, deeper love? So, any questions about what we're doing? Okay, go ahead and turn to your neighbor. We're going to take 3 minutes. Ready? Begin. It's okay. 1 more minute to go. 1 more minute to go. Thirty seconds. Start wrapping it up. Okay, and time. And time. So what did you come up with? Anything interesting? Anything you want to share? You got 1 or 2 shares? No? Say that again?
I'm just saying, it seems like we're all doing it.
We're all doing it.
Nodding and smiling and
Yeah,
tells me that we are doing it.
we are. So what is it we're doing? What are the things you're doing that's taking you to that higher, deeper love? Barb, I saw you almost say something.
My example was really simple. My son went to the dermatologist and had spots on his back that needed ointment and Band-Aids, and I did it, and he felt
Excellent, excellent. And I know that you guys online didn't hear that, but it was a great story. Exactly. So it's just the little kindnesses, right? But still being able to draw your boundaries and saying, I need to take care of me too, and I love you. Yeah, nicely done, nicely done. So bringing it all together, we think, right, which creates our feelings, which creates results. It is the seed and the soil and the plant, which is the acronym, not the acronym, the metaphor that we use all the time. Seed, soil, plant. What you plant into the soil is what grows. And that's the truth in our minds and our hearts. Yeah? So let's pray. So knowing that God is all there is, all-knowing, all-powerful, all-present, knowing that God is the source of all things, we are so very grateful for all that we have. I know that I am of and from and in and as this universal energy. It is who and what I am, and that I am all of the reflection of what God is, as is everyone in this room, and everyone that can hear my voice right here and right now. So I declare right here and now, when we are on the precipice of going to be on the 4th of July, that we are celebrating 150 or 250 years of this beautiful country that we live in, that we are in a place of love, that we are compassionate with each other, we show kindness to each other, and that as a community, we honor the freedom, we honor the economic availability, we honor the individual as a perfect expression of God. And for this, I am so very grateful. With love in my heart and gratitude abundant, I release my word to the law, knowing it is done, done, done. And together we affirm by saying, and so it is. Okay, so ready for the affirmation? Ready. Okay, so here's what we do, right? We're all going to stand up, and we're going to say it once to kind of get a feel for it, and then we're going to say it all together. And if you aren't able to stand up, then don't stand up. Are you ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I am consciously co-creating a higher, deeper love in the world.
Okay, one more time with feeling.
I am consciously
Creating higher, deeper love. Beautifully done, beautifully done. Go ahead and have a seat. Thank you, Rachael Dilling. And now we have another song.
Thank you, Rev Rachael. That was great. And by the way, we love you too.
Thank you.
This might be a good time to mention that we're looking for a volunteer to run this soundboard. It's not a lot of work. It's easy to learn, unless you got to play guitar and sing and run the soundboard.
And it's a little difficult.
Sometimes you get tangled up in your cables back there. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else tell me to start. Once I decide to change my mind, I will show me how. Love is my decision, my decision, my
Okay, so now is the time when we talk about investing in our community. So we know that tithing our talents and our time is incredibly important for us to grow and to thrive, but we also know investing our treasures is another one of those things that we do so that we can continue to grow and thrive, right? So we can give through Zelle, through online, and we can actually do a postal mail if you'd like. There we go. So at this point, whatever it is that you will be giving, either that's however you're going to give it, let's go ahead and take the idea of that and put it on your heart. And we're going to say this together. Are you ready? I love this. I am overflowing with love and abundance. I give from the source of my being, which is rich and unlimited. With joy and excitement, I share from this overflow. In return, the universe gives back to me in infinite ways, channels, and means. And so it is, and so it is. So at this point, if you would like to put something in the blue envelope, remember, I'm going to take just a moment. Remember that on that blue envelope, it also has a place where you can do a prayer request. So we've talked about in the announcements how we have practitioners that are here. We've got Bill, we've got Sue, we've got Scott. If you want prayer, they are here to pray with you today after service. We have a little special set up right over there that you can go and do. Prayer is one of those things that are important because we do affirmative prayer here, which means that we are going to know for you because we're going to put that in the love so that it'll go into the law to create results in your life. So when we pray, it's not just, I don't know where I was going with that. It's just not, we're not pleading. We're saying this is what we're declaring to be the truth. And so please, if you have a prayer, write it on that blue paper, and we will honor that prayer, and all of us will pray for you, which is part of what this community is all about. Okay? You can also get them online, here, online, and on the back of that blue envelope thing. Okay, on that note, go for it.
All right. Well, we have a bowl over there. Did we mention that?
Did I mention the bowl? I didn't mention the bowl. I'm going to mention the bowl now. There's a red bowl over here on the side. If you could take that blue envelope and you're going to put that in that red bowl over there, and then Charles is going to bring it up and we're going to pray over it. So at this moment, if you've got a tithing in that you want to put into the blue envelope, put it in the red bowl while we sing. Okay, now we're ready. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. I am only here for God. Thank you, Alan. Okay, come over here. So knowing that God is all there is, all-knowing, all-powerful, all-present, knowing that God is the source of all things, that it is love and life and movement and creation, that with this, that we are all part of that God energy with motion and creation and love. So very grateful knowing that this is a law of receptivity. What we give, we receive. And so we give. And we know that in the process of this, we are loved and life is good. So very grateful. I release my word to the law, knowing it is done, done, done. And together we affirm by saying, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Yay. So just a little reminder, on July 5th, Reverend Joe will be online right after the 4th next Sunday. And then on the 12th, we'll be back here. Actually, Joe will be back here. And I don't know if I'll be here or not. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, so that's happening. Those are our upcoming services. And now we're ready for, is that it? I didn't put the close. No, let there be peace on earth. We're going to go ahead and everybody stand up. We're going to make a circle around our space here. Join hands. There we go. We'll go this way. Okay. Yes. Wow, we got a big one going on here. Okay. Are you ready? That's right, the words are in back of us, I know. Let there be peace on earth, and now it begins with me. Let there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, love runs all our ways. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. This peace begins with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and now it begins with me. Thank you, thank you.